records are. Even the commentators I'm working with today. Richard Prauza. They're trying out a new ball, found a little crack in it. Both teams have the righty-lefty combo, so there's going to be a whole lot of forehand action and tactical play here. And Maharu, watching him play in Spain, and he's quite creative, very fast on his feet. I think it's going to be a question of Ishikawa taking it off the bounce, opening up the attacks. We'll see. She's hitting to Shushin this game. Love all. Soft touch, leaves it nice and short, and Shushin not able to play from over the table.
A little bit far away there from the ball. He has to always adapt that. He has to get into the ball. Ball is stopping a bit.
Right at the back edge of the table, Yoshimura having a bit of trouble, jammed up. First 2 points split.
That's very creative from Shushin, and we have this reverse action in different ways. Shushin's backhand reverse flick is very often side spin, down spin, not so heavy as, for example, Wang Hao was doing that.
Well placed right into the body, even hooking into the hip. And Shushin is definitely full of creativity. I think that's why he's one of, if not my favorite player to watch on the Chinese team. You never know what you're going to get.
Definitely, you're right. He was even creating not only this reverse, but also like from forehand side, like a flip around the ball.
Yep.
Not that often you see these kind of creativity.
He actually does a shot. So the reverse penhold backhand that Wang Hao really brought into fame, Shushin does a reverse penhold forehand, where he uses the red side from his forehand to hit it. I've never seen it in competition, but I've seen videos of him doing it in practice. Spinny shot from down low. Yoshimura keeping it low to the net, making the best shot of a not too easy ball.
What surprised me in this first rallies is that the Japanese team is on the same level, at least how it started, on this short shot. So like now they really, Yoshimura let the ball drop, easy topspin.
Excellent placement. Ishikawa with a big loop from off the table, staying in the rally with the big shots. But Shushin taking advantage of a little bit of traffic in the backcourt, hitting it right at Ishikawa.
And you see there, so nicely executed down the line.
Right now they're going point for point. And it's interesting, I think in doubles, mixed doubles and any doubles, how a team works together can really affect sort of their rankings truly in this event. There have been a lot of questions online about why is it that the Chinese pair were ranked 17 or why this and that. And the record of how people play together as a team, it's why you see Russians generally going so far in doubles.
What a return. You see, surprising Shushin. Shushin was ready to step around, but was not expecting that deep angle there.
Jammed up in the backhand court. Even if Shushin can't get around it, nobody can. His shoulder is injured, not his feet or legs. He's as fast as ever.
And this time he was ready. Shushin is executing this backhand receive a little bit more down the line. We've seen that also in the singles against Fang Bo. I mean, he can do it cross courts, but more often it's down the line so far. And you mentioned that before, it's always this hook around this side spin, and it's really curving into the body of Yoshimura there, you see?
Yoshimura is very nimble and agile, able to get out of the way, falling to the ground there for that shot as the ball, like you said, just hooked right into him. Shushin just giving that little extra effort, and it's paying off dividends. So far, the touching ground shot hasn't been working out for him. I think he's going to have to try and find a way to stay on his feet.
And you see these 2 extra steps Shushin was doing there. This very nice, very fine footwork. It's not so much about these big steps. It's very often about the small steps.
Absolutely, Richard. Beautiful shot from the hip.
Out of the pocket. Check this out.
Almost literally right on the hip cross court.
And check really out of the pocket. And you see this extra acceleration. And you see clenching the fist. He wants to win it. He's really going for this title.
Well, this is one of his big chances now that he's been knocked out of the singles.
Whoa.
Not sure what happened. It almost looked like, I mean, you can't imagine Ishikawa forgot that it was her turn to hit the ball, but that's what it looked like at a glance.
It was like a little bit of fake movement.
A grunting and another hooking forehand.
And you see how low this ball was dropping already. He really had to spin it up. And due to the fact that he has that good wrist, it was so much spin inside, difficult for Yoshimura to control that spin.
And now it's 4 game points for Shu and Young. Defensive point, a little bit of lobbing. While Shushin is very good at lobbing, he's not going to be able to play that game out here because the alternating shots, he's got to make sure his teammate is comfortable with the same style of play. Underspin serve well placed by Yang Haeun, and the fear of the third ball attack from Shushin. That's all it takes. Game 1, 11-7 for Shushin and Yang Haeun.
And I think really Shushin was the one to lead this mixed double in this way, that he was also playing so heavy topspin on Yoshimura. We will see if the other direction in the second game, what will happen there, what might change.
Second game, Yoshimura and Ishikawa to serve.
So we're back for game 2 where Shushin and Yang Haeun are leading 1-0. We had a little talk about what it's going to take for the Japanese pair to stay in this, although now the order is switched. So Yoshimura, we were talking about getting a little far from the table, Richard.
Exactly. I think now a little bit a different situation, but in game number 3, in case he's facing, or he will face Shushin again, the problem is he has to be away from the table because his passive skills are rather average, and also the big difference is there above the table. With the backhand, he has this reverse flip, but from short forehand, Yoshimura is also not that strong.
It's a little bit of fortune, a fishing shot from way back. Shushin able to keep it in play, and then Kasumi Ishikawa missing that.
A little bit of luck, but for Ishikawa, she's too far from the table. In that moment, she wants to take the power, and the fishing shot, you don't get power.
And that time she stays in closer, but Shushin again surprising, hitting it fast inside out, deep to the backhand corner.
One more time shortly about Ishikawa. The faster you play on her, the more usually she likes it. Sometimes you just play slow and giving her no spin ball, then she cannot use the power because there's no power in the ball.
Now that being said, the high speed game that Kasumi Ishikawa is used to playing with, have to imagine is still slightly slower and slightly less spinny for sure than what Shushin's hitting at her.
You get more than 1 point on that. And Shushin now proves that dominant right now also on the service of Yoshimura. You see there, this service was just like kick. Yoshimura was hoping for a short return, but Shushin had the hand up, the arm up, and executing directly one topspin, a little bit in the style of Marlin, who just actually retired.
And I heard he's playing in the leagues. Is it the Polish league? Is he in Russia? He's in Eastern Europe playing leagues, I guess, from time to time.
Before he used to play in Russia. I don't know if he signed a contract there again. Might be. Might be.
Well, about Shushin with the over-the-table shot, I mean, between being a pen holder, not having the hand as close to the table as the tip of the racket, and also being a left-handed player, his receive is going to be deadly.
And that's what Yoshimura is known for. Like, you get a little bit softer topspin, the ball bounces a little bit higher, and then he's coming for his counter spin. And there, Also a little bit of side spin inside.
He pulled the Shushin on Shushin. I like it. Right down the line, inside out, waits till the last moment to sort of commit to the placement on that, and Shushin has no anticipation for that ball. If he telegraphs. Yeah, if he telegraphs where he's going with that, he gives Shushin a chance. But right down the line, just sort of fans up over the ball. Beautiful shot.
Whoa, that was a rocket from the backhand. You don't see that too often from Yoshimura. Usually he loves to play with a forehand, with a spin rally, but you see there, rocket-like, no chance, even for Shushin, and even not if he would have worn roller skates.
I love the creativity, and the first shot there looked like he was wearing roller skates. Couldn't believe he reached the ball. From down low near the ground, the finishing shot here that ends the rally. Unfortunately, one shot earlier than we would have liked, maybe two. And we talked about the over-the-table game. You were saying that the touch shots, when Yoshimura is trying to leave it short on the table, tend to be popped up a little bit. Yeah. The over-the-table aggressive game, on the other hand, I feel like from wrist action with the backhand and the flip kill, Yoshimura has been pretty effective in the past.
Yeah. Definitely, with a backhand, with a short forehand, he has to really go for the ball. It's a little bit like hit and hope also from time to time. Whoa!
Unbelievable that punch shot comes back. Ishikawa just sending a rocket, and Yang Haeun on the fallback is able to bring it back into play.
And again, he tried this fake movement, tried to catch Shushin in the deep forehand. Would be the right placement, I believe.
It's a one-point game. Japan here trying to tie it up.
And again, this early turnaround, Shushin is offering him the backhand, but like Yoshimura knows it meanwhile, and it's all the time down the line. It's really offside.
I don't know what you think about this, but since the ball change, I feel like Shushin has gone back to some old habits we used to see before he developed his backhand so much.
Good step into the ball. I mean, that's something as penhold player nowadays you have to develop. And he's trying hard, but still from the style, he's a little bit more like this Ma Lin style, not so much like Wang Hao style, relying on the backhand. He's working more with service, receive, and the first ball forehand attack. Spinning ball, and that's what I've been mentioning before. You spin the ball to the backhand of Yoshimura. He has not really the right control there, not that easy. As, for example, we've seen before Vladi Samsonov is doing.
Right, I think when he's a little closer to the table, as you mentioned, it's trouble for him. When he's right at the back, when he's a step off, lets the ball dip a little bit past its arc, he counters very well from mid-distance. That's a sweet spot, and that's what we were talking about, or what I was thinking with Shushin.
Yeah.
He waits a little bit more than I think he should on the backhand corner to step around and take the forehand. He's being punished for it.
One idea would be just like to get yourself a little bit in the middle and just try to control this first ball.
I guess the issue is with doubles, the first ball might be the last ball because your teammate has to make the next shot. And now it's 2-game points for Shushin and Yang Haeun to go up 2-0 in this best-of-7 mixed doubles finals.
But very smart move from Yang Hae to just let the ball drop, to spin the ball, not waiting for this short service, because the ball was slipping out.
And again, it's a little bit of trouble. Well-placed serve, and Yoshimura cannot bring it down the line with the backhand. Game goes to Shushin and Yang Haeun.
And you see the ball was maybe even half long, but this is always the risk if you go for this reverse backhand action, that you go for the ball, and when it's half long, it's more difficult to control. But whatever, 11-8 for Shushin and Yang Haeun.
Stick around, we got Game 3 coming up just after this short break.
Nine.
明白吧？就现在你这打，如果不行的话，要赶紧赶线啊。好。
Who's gonna serve?
And as we come back for game 3, Suzhou and Yang Haeun are leading 2-0. We saw the dual coaching action. Richard, you were saying that it's probably a good idea they discuss, which I imagine they do, so they're giving the same coaching.
Whoa!
Huge
What a rally
inside
again.
out.
Whoa!
Amazing forehand from off the table. And this is what we talked about after game 1. Yoshimura, if he's too far back, it's going to be a bit of a problem, but just one step in sort of split the difference, and it's going to be much more lethal.
And can he also use the power that it's coming? Good flick there. Again, we had that in the game number 1, also very, very deep to the Shuxin's backhand. And you just mentioned, if Shuxin is not can step around, then nobody can. Very good from Ishikawa there.
Serve drifted a little
Yeah.
bit, but I thought it was pretty well placed. Still deep right near the edge of the table, just a little bit shorter next time, and Shuxin's not going to be able to open up so strong.
But so spinny. And for Yoshimura, that was also the trouble in the first game. And again, you mentioned that down the line, this reverse shot, and the ball really goes down also a bit. Side spin, down spin. You have so much different action Shuxin can produce in this reverse backhand flick.
Yeah, Yoshimura still doesn't look comfortable with some of these rushed shots. He's going to have to split the difference a little bit on where he's standing for these. I think the idea is right. He wants to keep it aggressive. He understands the pressure, but the percentages are just too low right now.
It's a little bit overpowered sometimes.
Soft touch from Ishikawa, but Shuxin's coming rushing in, and I think that sort of puts a little bit of fear. When you're receiving that, you realize how short you need to keep it, and sometimes you overdo it.
And not even short, like even a little bit higher, but short. Shuxin will be there with his penhold arm.
Right, short and just barely above the net.
And they are not playing that precisely, the Japanese pairing. You see, whenever the ball is drifting out, this time it was a good soft topspin from Yang. And this service from Yoshimura is really also in the game before not that strong.
Left. 3-4.
Usually this is the advantage you want to have if the man is serving on the woman.
Whoa! Just an incredible point. What a recovery. Yoshimura from way down low brings the ball back up. Let's see this one more time. The top of the net dribbles over. The camera can barely catch up. And look at that recovery right at the baseline in the corner. Ishikawa falling to the ground, just missing on that slap shot fadeaway. Doesn't even sound like a table tennis shot.
No.
It's a hockey basketball slap shot fadeaway.
Yeah. And this makes the difference right now. Ball was a little bit high. Yoshimura was stepping back in order to wait for a flick. Shuxin saw that. Another drop shot. And that Yoshimura missed the ball. 6-3.
At this level, you can't move too early. You'll be punished for it. And despite Ishikawa's backhand, a little bit of hook and side spin would be effective, but Shuxin planted right there, and his forehand is lethal.
And especially if Ishikawa is giving him this time. The ball was bouncing a little bit towards him, and he could execute a very nice down-the-line forehand topspin. Whoa!
Little bit of clever play from Yoshimura. A chop block on the forehand side with the tomahawk motion.
And difficult to judge how much spin is inside, because all this spin from the reverse action backhand was coming back to Yang.
Right, how much spin and what percentage side, what percentage under, what percent, tough to read.
And that point was deserved. I love this return. Maybe we see this in slow motion one more time. So loose action, you see there.
It looks like a backhand from the start. He comes around the side of the ball. That's something that Shuxin's been stirring up a lot lately in tournaments. Very unusual receive, sometimes more effective than others, but it's a great start to the rally for him and Yang Haeun. Excellent length on the serve, low to the net, and it's going to bounce twice on the table.
And check the Japanese pairing. They a little bit look like frustration, a little bit like they don't find the rhythm, and they feel overpowered by Shin, I feel.
Absolutely. This is not the comfortable Kasumi Ishikawa and Maharu Yoshimura that we're used to. I mean, they made it to the finals for a reason. There were some strong pairings in this event.
Whoa.
Just a punishing forehand, clips the top of the net, but it doesn't matter. There's no chance for that ball to come back. Placement, power, and speed. It's like there was never an injury to Shin at all.
Check this, unbelievable. And really even over the cross, that was perfect.
So it's a 3-0 lead for Shin and Yang Haeun, 11-7, 11-8, and 11-4. We'll see if the Japanese pair can do anything to turn things around in Game 4. Stay tuned.
Time. Time, please. Time.
And as the players come back for Game 4, Shin and Yang Haeun leading 3-0. It could be a straight sweep if they keep up the playing the way they have been. Shin looking very loose out there, occasionally creative, taking some shots that seem, like you said, Richard, a lot of fun. But at the same time, every point he plays, he can really let it show that he wants to win. I mean, he's growling and showing.
And we should never underestimate this world title is a very, very important title in that way that every title counts. And you see
A screaming grunt.
Film in there.
I don't think I've ever seen Shin do that. He's like, ah! That was almost perfect lip sync right there.
But the arm getting longer and longer and longer.
Right off the bounce, Ishikawa playing the angles. She does this a lot in singles, and I don't feel like we've seen it much coming into play this match.
And this time also reading the service of Shin right.
Very well placed, wide angle, taking it early over the table.
Yeah. And there we have it again. You just come back from the regular tactic and technique. Yoshimura's from backhand side. It's just simply in his passive skills, quite average altogether. He has to be ready to turn around, maybe to go directly for a counter spin. Just go for it. But not like this. Shin had the chance to turn around. If you catch Shin, you have to catch him in the deep forehand. But there you see the ball was bouncing a bit higher though. And Shin was really moving inside.
Yeah, that shot's too fast and too furious. To control that is going to be a high demand for the Japanese pair. Whoa, the grunt again, and this time Yoshimura made the right decision. He's trying to play wide to the forehand. It's like you can never guess where Shin's going to go. That time it was like he was doing a high jump. Both legs come off the ground as he grunts.
And you see also Ishikawa, how well she was following there, really off the bounce. The power was coming and she just could take it off the bounce. Very nice technique though.
Left. 3 on.
No, I've been impressed with Yang Haeun. She's been quite a contributor as well. Whenever the ball comes up, she has an opportunity to loop with the forehand. The team's won many points off Yang Haeun's loops as well. That was not one of them, unfortunately. Backhand a little rushed off the bounce, wide. We've got a lead on the side of Japan. It's nice to see them talking about the service receive. I think that's going to be very important here. Ishikawa delivering right off the bounce, but it does not end the rally. Yang Haeun.
And it started well to build up the point with a good block from Yoshimura there. And then he has to turn around a little bit too much the power to the side instead of moving towards the ball.
Maybe it's nerves. I mean, Yoshimura looked so different a month ago in Spain. He looked so loose and comfortable taking these shots. Of course, his opponents were slightly different, but still, he wasn't playing in front of a packed stadium that it spans 8 tables in length.
And it's about the world title here. We shouldn't forget. Oh, look, there's also this extra fake movement. But I tell you also something. This service is way too high. And it's getting, you see that,
Head
even
fake.
the no-looking stroke.
Love it. It's the Mima Ito. We were calling it the Kobe Bryant when Mima Ito did it, but she did it so many times. Probably more than Kobe Bryant. I think it's officially the Mima Ito, the role model for Shushin. At 14 years old, she's teaching the 25-year-old tricks. So the timeout for Yoshimura and Ishikawa. If you're their coach right now, what are you telling them, Richard?
Well, I think the main thing is they have to just like catch up, and the problem is trying to play more precisely. But it's like the idea behind, of course, they don't want to get the higher service there. I would just get away from the side spin, up spin service, just like spin and no spin, and trying to catch up with Shushin, not playing too much in the backhand side, but move him a little bit more to middle and forehand.
Now, Richard, we've got a question from the hashtag Ask the Commentator online. Nathan wants to ask you, might Shushin's long swing be the reason for his sore shoulder?
Yeah, I think definitely the way he's playing this forehand technique, it's quite unique. Really reminds me a little bit also on Ryu Min with this big swing he has on the forehand. And he had played really so many matches here, so that might be a reason. But looks like now he's quite on the way to recover.
Soft touch from Ishikawa leaves it over the table, and Yang Haeun, waiting for the ball to come off, has to change her mind and rushes a defensive shot. Still a 1-point lead for Shushin and Yang Haeun. What on earth was that? He made a motion at it and a wiggle, the contact. It almost seemed like even Shushin wasn't sure what he put on it.
But Adam, I tell you something, now it's very important to keep the concentration, because like everything was going on the table, like you really felt Shushin has so much fun, but like it's still about winning, and now he has to calm down, keep the focus, keep the concentration.
That's right, you relax when you get ahead, and that's when the other team jumps in when the door's open. Guard is down. He still wants it, he's hungry.
Yep, and smart return there from Yang. Just like to attack the backhand of Yoshimura, he has to turn around. He has to be ready for the forehand. And these small things, these opening mistakes, these blocking mistakes, at the end getting a little bit the difference there. Also, you have to admit Yoshimura has to try, has to go for the ball, has to risk.
I mean, 43 in the world is nothing to scoff at. Quite a high ranking, but still, when you're playing world rank number 2, you're not going to have the same shots and opportunities.
So spinny there, not really easy. Also, the ball was jumping a bit high. Usually you would imagine that's a chance for the counter spin, but it's that much spin, you really have to get over the ball. 9-6. Whoa, artistic, check this out, I cannot believe.
Shushin looking like a figure skater out there. Ball hit into his legs, he lifts one like a flamingo and sideswipes the ball, just hooking it. I want to see the replay of that.
And if Liu Yang starts to smile, that means something.
Right. Grand Slam winner, legend of the game. That's the creativity that makes Shushin probably the highlight king from 2014 for the last few years anyway. Any tournament he plays is loaded with highlights. And that is it, 11-6. Shushin and Yang Haeun for Korea and China together unite to take the mixed doubles championship. And what an exciting handshake and celebration this will be for the two associations. South Korea and China have taken down the Japanese pair, the team that made it all the way to the finals, Kazumi Ishikawa and Maharu Yoshimura. Richard.
Yeah, lots of credit to the Japanese pairing. They were trying so hard, and I mean, they won the silver medal, you really have to say right now. And Shushin, in the way he was leading the double there, paired by Yang Haeun, was doing really, you see this artistic way he was doing there, also coming on the table. and they really deserved to win this title as Shin was controlling the game. Young Haeun was doing also like the ball, very good placement there. I think they really deserved it. You see the smile on their faces. That's how it should be.
I imagine that Young Haeun, yep, there's a smile there too, and there's something about between the coaches high-fiving and the players hugging. I just feel like can't we all just get along? Table tennis around the world